Good evening, Arsenal community. Listen to these dulcet tones. But before we get into it, Calamera, Calaspera, Calanixia. No matter where we in this world you might be, thank you for making Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a new week. It's a blank canvas, people. Let's paint pictures. Let's tell stories. Welcome to Highbury Central. Hashtag Monday Madness with Albert JTV and Super Kevin Campbell. Let's do this, people.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, Arsenal community, Squaddy Central. Now, you might recognize me, Albert JTV. I am the stand-in host for tonight on the Highbury Squad. I was kindly asked by the amazing Sophie, Super Nicola, I call her. I've even got the hat on in homage to Sophie and a beautiful top that Kevin gave me last season. People, as I always like to say, even on my channel, straight away, go and hit the like button. And Squaddies, big up to you in the chat. Smash the like button, like I said, and send your love to Sophie. And we're going to get chew the fat off many talking points for tonight. And I've got to introduce my brother, obviously, people many know, from another mother, Super Kevin Campbell. Salute you, son.
Albert, Squaddies, everybody, Sophie, we're thinking of you and your family, mum and dad and everybody as always. And you know what, Squaddies, as we always say, let's get stuck in. All the best and let's go, Squaddies. At ease.
At ease, people. Now, let me do the obligatory housekeeping before we get into this. So I want to big up firstly Gunners Balls for an amazing picture of Declan Rice in the Highbury Squad thumbnail. Absolutely amazing. People, look at the link in the description and check out the amazing work from Jason. And secondly, of course, I have to talk about the Highbury Squad in terms of powered by ZENITH Coins. Support the future, treasure the past. Visit www.zenithcoins and use the code HS15 for 15% off, people, off your purchase. And I can vouch for that because I got a coin from them as well. So I know it looks amazing, people. So yeah, across all social media platforms at ZENITH Coins. And one more plug is for my amazing people, Ruth Beck Art. There's amazing work. Pin badges,
work.
graphics.
You met her the other week, didn't you?
Albert? I've met Ruth a couple of times, Super Kev. And I said to her, if she wasn't married, I would marry her.
Sharing the love, Albert. We love it.
I am. So people, please do check out Ruth Beck Art, particularly because we are Christmas Day a week today, Kevin, Super Kev.
It is. Yeah. It is a week today.
The people, Christmas presents, use
tomorrow. A week tomorrow.
Yeah, Christmas Day is the Monday.
Yeah, week tomorrow.
So people, use the 20% off, the Highbury Squad 20% off, and go on Ruth Beck Arts. It's an amazing website. I think I've got all the
week today. What am I talking about? I'm all over the place.
It's today, Kevin. It's a week.
I'm just checking. Look, I looked down. It's the 18th. It is today, 25th. Come on.
Yeah, people. Housekeeping is done. Kevin, now, of course, I want to talk about the first thing I want to talk about. We are in a knockout stage before we get to the Premier League part, because obviously we're top of league, but we can leave that for a minute. We'll come back to that. But last 16 tie, we have Porto away. What's your first immediate thoughts when they came out the hat?
I was pleased with this draw. I've got to say, listen, it could have been a lot more difficult than this.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
For us. And you know what? I think this is a good one for us, although I will put a caveat in there.
Go on.
In the Europa, Portuguese side have knocked us out.
Yeah.
And we don't want that to happen in the Champions League.
No.
Obviously, because for whatever reasons, I think the more games we can play and get through, like the rounds, the confidence is going to grow.
Yeah.
I think this one is ideal for us because you wouldn't say that they're the top side, but
No.
they're a really good Champions League side. So we've got to take it in stages as well, Albert. But I'm really pleased with this one. And listen, Portugal as well. Weather's going to be nice over there. It's a good draw for Arsenal. And, I expect us to do the business.
No, good shot. Because your thing is, as well, if you look at the other ties, like there's going to be some big guns going. Look, Napoli versus Barcelona. You've got Inter Milan versus Atletico Madrid. So teams are going to fall by the wayside. And when you get to this point in the competition, everyone's dangerous as far as I'm concerned. And when you get to the last 16, Kev, it's like the bread and butter now. You can't make no mistakes. You cannot make no mistakes.
You have to be on it. You have to be sharp. But not only sharp, you want to be starting to play your best football. Because now, in the league stage is one thing. It's the knockout stage, Albert. And just for everybody, some people who probably didn't remember the European Cup, it used this way all the way through.
Yeah.
Just 2 legs knockout. I would love a tournament like that, Albert, honestly.
Yeah.
Straight knockout. Whoever comes out the hat, you play against each other, and then you go toe-to-toe. So, obviously, Arsenal, we've done well to get through the group stage so easy.
Yeah.
But now is where we cut our teeth. This is the important part.
Yeah, 100%. Big up to the people in the chat. 170 in the chat already. If you haven't hit the like button already, what on earth are you waiting for, people? Get them algorithms up right through the roof. So, Kev's now, I was pleased with the draw, man. I have to be honest. It's funny because I've said to you before we went live, Sophie was literally messaging me about the show and it just popped up the BBC app thing on my phone. I said, yes, that's a good tie, man. It's a good tie. And I fancy us over 2 legs. Yeah, Porto are doing well domestically so far. A couple points off, I think, Sporting Lisbon in 3rd place. But I'm confident over 2 legs we can get it done, Super Kevs. But yeah, Kevs, I want to sort of touch on obviously the game yesterday. I was there for the 2-0 win. And we'll sort of lead into the major talking points we're talking to.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
As you were there, Albert, I couldn't go yesterday. What was the atmosphere like? Because Brighton have been a bit of a bogey side to us, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, what's it? So they've beaten us. They're 2 seasons ago going for top 4. They beat us 2-1 at the Emirates. I was there for that. They beat us in the League Cup last season. And they beat us in the Premier League last season. Yeah. So yeah, it was a... You know what? It depends who you speak to, Kevin, because some people say the atmosphere is great. Some people say it could be better. Some people complain about people leaving early. But listen, from what I would say in the recent years that I've been to the Emirates, the atmosphere has got 100 times better. Kevin, 100 million %. People talk about it being a library. It's not a library because we're back, people. Arsenal are back. And people hate us. And that's how you know we're back. So now I thought the atmosphere was good, Kevin, man. Listen, it's hard to get a ticket to go and watch Arsenal these days. And I'm in a very fortunate enough position to go on a much regular basis. So listen, I've got a great seat as well opposite the dugout. About row 11, so kind of halfway line. So I thought the atmosphere was good, Kevin. I don't know if what you've heard from other Arsenal fans or what you might have seen.
It seemed pretty good. Spoke to a few people, said, yeah, the atmosphere was fine. I just think sometimes people are a bit wary of Brighton. And because we know Brighton are a decent team and they can play, man. Brighton can play. They can play their way out of trouble. They know how to maneuver the ball. But, listen, I don't want to go too much into it yet because I know you got questions. But let me tell you something. There was one real big difference maker in our team yesterday.
Oh, I tell you, we'll come on to a certain someone just in a minute. But Kevin, one thing I've said about Arsenal this season, whether it be the games I've gone to or the games I've watched on the box, particularly in the Premier League, I think we start very, very slowly. But that was not the case yesterday. I'm in a couple of Arsenal group chats. Everyone's got an opinion. Oh, Arsenal should be better. I thought we was good in the first half, but there was obviously one major issue. When you dominate, you've got enough possession, you get your combination plays. What you have to do at the top end of the pitch is be ruthless. So what have you made of? Yeah. So what have you kind of made of that kind of, Kevin? That segue of Arsenal not starting games fastly, or how you saw it yesterday?
Look, I think it goes against Arsenal sometimes. I think sometimes Arsenal do start all right,
Yeah,
but they don't get the goals they deserve. That's the other thing you see, Albert, because if the team starts okay, but you don't score the goals that you should, the fast start doesn't matter.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing we really have to get into our psyche. You know, not the fans want it. I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
the manager wants it. I'm sure the players want it, but they're the ones who has to execute, and they really have to take the games by the scruff of the neck and put these chances away. Because you know what, it should have been an easy day. Second half,
yeah,
the game should have been over at half time. If you look at the possession and what we actually done, the chances we created, but we weren't on it.
mm,
We weren't on it in the first half, and when you're not on it, good teams can come back at you. And we saw that Gross, if he'd have scored that goal,
oh,
that would have been typical for us, wouldn't it? You know,
yeah,
that would have been typical. But
yeah,
you know, this team, you've got to give them a lot of credit. They have got some toughness about them. They really do have some toughness. And you know, Kai Havertz scoring the second goal just put everybody's nerves to rest.
mm. No, you make a great point. You make a great point, Super, because some of the guys that regularly sit behind me, I feel like I would want to just turn around and just strangle them sometimes, because like belying Brighton's position in the Premier League, like you say, man, they can play, man. Like they took risks. They are happy to go 1-for-1, because you watch us week in week out, Super Kev, right? They always double up on the wingers. Martinelli, Saka. That's always the case. 2 man on them, 3 man on them. But they're happy to go 1-on-1.
Yeah.
But you know, when we sort of got one thing we did well, which I always say, I always sort of break it down into blocks, Super Kev. So particularly the home games, try and get that goal in the first 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. If you can get it before halftime, even better.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. But what we did do well, second half, scored within the first 10 minutes.
Yes.
And it set
on it. Yeah.
the tone. And then obviously Brighton got the ball a little bit more. But sort of, what have you made of Arsenal in the sense of, obviously we got the goal to go 1-0 up. Do you think could you understand why we didn't sit back? But Brighton, like I said, are a good footballing side, so they came into a bit more and dominated possession a bit more. Because I was Arsenal fans saying, "Go Arsenal, go for the kill." But I'm like, look, Arsenal had to get to a point in the game where you show a little bit more defensive shape. Yes, we're at home. Keep it structured. Keep the spaces pretty tight in between. So, what do you sort of make of us getting the first goal and sort of settling the nerves down?
Yeah, Albert. Look, I think sometimes we all want Arsenal to dominate for 90 minutes and not give the other team a chance. But unfortunately, that's not how football's played. The opposition are going to get some opportunity to dictate the play as well, especially if you're a good team. And no disrespect to anybody, Brighton are a good side.
Yeah,
they will play a lot of teams off the pitch. I'm telling you now. So we get the goal. Sometimes we are guilty of taking a step back and going, whoa, okay, let's consolidate. We know what we can do now. We could actually allow them to come onto us now, and we can play on the counter-attack a little bit more. Why? Because that's when we could release Saka a bit more and release Martinelli a bit more.
Yeah.
Jesus is going to have a bit more space. And that's the way we play sometimes. We don't like it too much at home, but against good sides, you've got to respect them. You've got to respect them, because you don't respect them, and then you find yourself one each, and then you're having to push on again. So I think we navigate ourselves around better than we did last season, because last season, we were more free flowing, but we conceded goals at wrong times. Emirates wasn't so much a fortress. We won a lot of games, Albert, but it wasn't such a fortress as we would have liked. This season, keeping a clean sheet against Brighton, I love it. I absolutely love it, because you know what? This is so important to this team. We need to win games, but we need clean sheets as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, the second half, I was so pleased. Like like I said, I always like to look at the game sometimes in blocks, so like 10 or 15-minute periods but like I said, Arsenal very good at just sometimes getting the goal at the right time, and then 1-0's a dangerous scoreline in football. And as you mentioned, Brighton keep the ball, they play the ball well. When I watched the chance back, Gross, Kev, as a striker, I cannot believe he's not gone with his right foot. I couldn't believe it. You've got to let that ball come across you and take that with your right foot. He took it the wrong way, but you know what? For us Arsenal fans, I'm glad he took it that way because he missed.
He probably thought there was a man there.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of traffic in the box.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to try and get his foot on it and turn it towards goal. But the fact he's gone with his left foot as opposed to his right, we're both pleased about that, Albert.
Yeah, 100%. And Jesus gets the one in the onion bag as well. Very pleased for him, Kev, because he does some brilliant work. When he sent Lewis Dunk for Dreams, it was beautiful. Goodness me. I said, this guy. Well, Kev, so let's go lead us on to the segue. It's obviously the talking points. The first person I've got to talk about, you've kind of touched on him anyway. I've renamed him.
Did I?
Yeah. I've renamed this guy, like many people of Nigerian descent like myself, Declan Rice. The questions in the title, really. Kevin, let me give you my little sort of 2 pennies worth, and I'll bring you enough my little monologue. Declan Rice is not an unknown quantity, right? That's the first thing. So he's been within our vicinity in the Premier League for a number of years. It depends for me as an Arsenal fan or a football fan, how much football you watch outside of watching your own club. For England, he's got about 50 caps almost. He played very well in the Euros back in his country a few years ago. Had a good partnership with Calvin Phillips for England. Very impressive what I saw at West Ham. And I don't know about you, Kevin, with players, there's always a game where I'm like, I want him. This guy's a top player. And by the way, this is before the links with Arsenal, by the way. Now, rightly so, the likes of Bukayo Saka and Jude Bellingham got plaudits to the World Cup for England. Rightly so, Super Kev. And I've said this on my channel, and I've said this on many Arsenal channels. Declan Rice's performance in that quarterfinal against France was elite level. And I don't use them words very, very lightly. He was phenomenal, Kevin. And then we sort of move it on a bit more in terms of the links coming to Arsenal. And I've got to be honest, I'm quite pessimistic in the sense that I thought, I didn't really see it happening.
City Cup, you didn't remember everybody threw the toys out the Prem, didn't they?
Yeah. So it built up a bit more traction. And I thought, oh, this might be possible. And I saw some of the reticence with Arsenal fans, whether that be through the social medias, the WhatsApp groups. And I said to myself, are you guys crazy? Like, even if you don't want to go from a statistical point of view, go by the eye test, man. I would have jumped in my car, gone to East London any time of the day, and dragged this guy kicking and screaming to the
day or night.
Yeah, day or night, Super Kev.
Day or night.
Yeah, I like him as an individual, as a human being. He's infectious, and the fact we got him, Kev, I'm not surprised what I've seen. He's actually been even better than what I thought. And you know what, Kevin? He's only 24. So I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to put some graphics on the screen in terms of stats and what people might have seen with their eyes, but now we're seeing it as an Arsenal fan in a 90-minute performance. So Kevin, take it away, man, about this guy.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to deal with his performance first, I think.
Go on, mate.
And then we'll go back. I thought, when you watch us play against Brighton the previous 2 times, especially that 3-0 defeat at the Emirates last season.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right, where they done a number on us.
Yeah.
Midfield needs to have power, and pace, and aggression in there. And you look at the way we play, especially second half.
Yeah.
Where we will let them play to a point, and then because Declan's got the athleticism, he's got the power, he's got the pace, he can then trap that ball that bypasses the strikers into midfield, and he's getting there first, Albert. Yeah. How is he getting there first? He's the holding midfielder. But Sophie and I done a chat about Declan Rice. I said, listen, he can affect the game in so many ways. He can affect the game by being a destroyer, by breaking up the opposition's movement. And that's what he was doing. He was just going in there, breaking it up, and we were winning the ball on the edge of their box and going. And we should have scored more, let's be honest.
Yeah, we should have.
But that is what he brings to the table. Defensively, he's sound. We call it the Guna Triangle, like the Bermuda Triangle. You know, Saliba, Gabriel, and Rice in that Guna Triangle. Was it that Ferguson? Callum
Ferguson up front for Brighton, yeah.
I didn't see him. He had to be taken off because,
yeah,
you know, just like our aeroplane, mate, he went missing in the triangle. You have to be a good player to really affect these guys. But that midfield, that Rice pushing on, and so. But let me just move on because I think he's made such a difference to our team. I remember watching Declan Rice years ago, and I said to myself, This guy can play, man.
Yeah.
This guy can play. But I think a lot of people, because they see him at West Ham, and he'd done everything at West Ham, but because it's West Ham, he didn't get his flowers. I think now that Declan Rice has come to the Arsenal, a lot of people are he's doing exactly the same things he'd done for West Ham.
Yeah.
But he's just at the Arsenal.
Is it a better club? No offense.
Is that a better club? Is that a bigger club?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the stage is set, isn't it? And they're seeing, wow, this guy, he is, because it's the consistency level as well, Albert.
Yeah.
You've got to be consistent in what you do. And these levels are ridiculous. What is it? Another man of the match?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
The guy's incredible. But you set him the task, and he does it. And let's be honest, Albert, second half, that run,
oh
where
my
he's
God,
gone down the line, he just dropped his shoulder and gone again. If he'd have scored that, that's up there for a goal of the season.
Yeah, 100%.
Because holding midfielders shouldn't be doing that, Albert. And me and Sophie said, would I prefer Bellingham or Rice? And I said, give me Rice all day long. And it's not that Bellingham's a bad player. Bellingham is a baller.
Yeah, he's a player.
He's a player. Scored again yesterday.
I know.
For Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But for what we need, Albert, this is our guy.
And mate, you know what? I love him. The transformation, like you said, he gives us power, he gives us physicality. You know what? He can slot into a free, or he could as a centre back. He from set pieces he could be good.
PSV centre back,
probably.
You know, last week, midweek he came on centre back. Get in there, no worries. He can play anywhere. The guy's he's a footballer.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's
he's
amazing.
A footballer.
Can he
become a living? Can he become a legend in the making?
In the making, that's the question. Yeah, question mark. People, remember question mark.
Yes, he can. But here's the thing, and I would put this on the player now.
Yeah,
Declan Rice would want to earn that legend status. Legend that he chose us over Man City and all that kind of thing. Great, but he'll want to prove it. And what does he say? He wants to win silverware. He wants to be successful. He's 24 years old. Him, Saka, Martinelli, Ødegaard, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, all these guys coming up together. Albert, we got to get it right, man. We got to get it right. If we build the squad around these guys, man, listen, we could be in and around it, challenging. We're not saying everybody has a divine right to win.
No,
but we could be challenging season after season after season, and that's what we want.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, people just got the graphic on screen. Like Declan Rice's stats last season, Kev. Like, I mean, like I said, I didn't watch West Ham every single week last season, but I watched them enough, and I thought to myself, wow, if we're linked with him, and if we can land him, and I said this, Kevin, when I went on to Sky Sports as well, that it wasn't about a fan whether you wanted Declan Rice or not. It was about Arsenal making an impression and making a statement to get their number one marquee signing. That's how important this was. And we've got him. And when you've got, possessions won, he was ranked first Premier League last season. Interceptions, ball carries, even going further into the ball carrying side of it. You know, pressure carries, defenders bypass carries, distance carried. He's like a juggernaut. It's super impressive, and that's just like I said before. They make it clear again. That's just from a statistical point of view. Now, as an Arsenal fan, if you're lucky enough to get a ticket and watch him play, and you watch him on the spots, he's superb. Kev, his ability, and I said this before. We've seen the days of the Deschamps, the water carrier, and Krul Makaleli. This guy's ability and skill set to intercept is insane. Absolutely insane. I've not seen it like it for years.
He's got one yellow card all
Crazy.
season.
Yeah.
And that was in the Villa game.
Yeah.
One. And he's a centre midfielder. And it's not as if to say he doesn't put his foot in. He's physical. He gets about the pitch. But he's just so clean the way he does it. He's so clean. The guy's a baller. And you know what? Whenever Thomas Partey weren't there, what did we always used to say? We miss Thomas Partey. I haven't heard anybody say we miss Thomas Partey.
I've not heard nobody say that. Not heard anybody say that.
But
that's a testament.
But I wish we could have had, or we can have, a fit Thomas Partey with Declan Rice.
Cool,
because I think Thomas Partey could open up another dimension to Declan Rice.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Declan and as well, and on top of that as well, because obviously Souness has said about not in terms of what goals, but he scored some important goals already for us this season, Kev.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't worry too much about what Graham Souness says. although I respect him as an ex-player and a manager, he was one of the greats, and he knows that position.
Yeah,
but Declan Rice has got years to develop in our team. He's only just arrived.
Yeah, and he's already scored important goals. He's already Luton, Chelsea, Man United.
He's gonna be all right, mate. He's gonna be all right. There's gonna be a time where he's between a 5 and 10 goal centre midfielder.
Yeah,
imagine what that's gonna be like. You know
priceless,
what I mean?
Absolutely priceless. But yeah, I couldn't wax lyrical more about Declan Rice. Man. Big up to people in the chat. Like I said, 286 in the chat. If you haven't hit the like button already, what are you waiting for? People smash it, poke it, man.
Smash it up, come on. Slot it in the corner.
But no, Kez, I'm glad to get. I so wanted to hear your views about Declan, man. Like I obviously watched the Highbury Squad, but to speak to you one-to-one and speak about him, I've been a big fan of him. Like I said, he's not an unknown talent. It's not like he was someone that played in the Bundesliga or Liga and we never heard of him. He's here. We've seen him.
We do rate him very highly. Yeah.
And we've got him.
Do you know what, Albert? I'm gonna say this. Declan Rice is world class.
Chuck it out there, man.
Not chuck it. He is world class. He's done it. He's done it in Euros. He's done it in World Cup. He's done it in the Premier League for years. He is world class. And now he's doing it in the Champions League. He's world class. Yeah,
I've had this debate with not debate. I don't get too involved in too many debates, but in terms of with the world class tag and Arsenal players getting called world class, I know it really makes people feel a bit salty, but I like saying it.
Declan Rice is world class. I'm telling you now. He's
done
it on international level. He's done it domestically.
Yeah,
he's world class.
Yeah. Saka's got to play in the Champions League. Most goal contributions in the Champions League by any player.
Saka is that close to being world class for me. That close now. Because it's only a matter of time. If he has a great, obviously now we're in the knockout.
Yeah,
this
that's
is where we're going to find out whether Saka is that guy.
Yeah, creme de la creme. It's funny. It's funny, Kev, because I don't know, like with the Champions League. We talk about the Premier League, for example, and like Saka and Martinelli getting doubled up on, but in the Champions League, these teams are happy to go 1-0. Yeah, they would. Martinelli and Saka strip them naked.
They can't afford to have their wingers go do that.
Yeah, they can't.
No,
100%. But no, yeah. Kev, great to get your thoughts, man. But the next talking point, he's been called many things. Cobra Kai, I've heard. They've obviously got a fantastic jolly song about Kai Havertz. So, Kev, sort of coming to you. I'll sort of give my little monologue and I'll bring you in. When we signed him, I'll be honest, I did raise it. When the links were started, sorry, before we signed it, I was like, oh, I didn't really see that one coming. I mean, Mikel must have seen something or know something that us Arsenal fans or ex-players like yourself don't know. Another ex-Chelsea player, he can't help that. But I think for me, sort of to cut it, not to delve into too much, I want to hear what you got to say, really. I said, look, we've had a good sample size of games now, Super Kevin. We've had 17 Premier League games, 6 Champions League games, couple of League Cup games in between that. And I said this, and it wasn't meant in a horrible way to Kai Havertz. I just said, look, I don't think you're going to see a massive upturn in his performances unless, the key word, unless, capital letters, he goes away, he scores 6 in 10 or 7 or 5 in 7. When you add goals to your game, it elevates and it gets people talking and actually probably keeps them quiet, Kevin. But he's been very impressive, actually. I thought he played well against Luton, particularly. Early doors, I thought he was good against Palace away. He breaks up play and, the physicality side of it. But what I wanted to see was, he's not going to be an assist king, in my opinion. But he will get into the right areas like he did against Villa away, where he should have had a couple of assists, really, if Arsenal like finished their dinner. But Kevin, what have you made of sort of when we was linked with him, he's come to Arsenal, but in recent sort of the last 4 or 5 week period where he's added goals to his game?
Yeah, I think Kai Havertz is a confidence player, Albert. At Chelsea, listen, we saw there was times where he done okay. Obviously won him the Champions League, and there was times where he stunk the place out. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
we call it like it is. And for us to be linked for 65 million, everyone's like, oh, we could go and get this one, that one, that one. Obviously, the manager sees something that he likes. Yeah. Now, the way I look at it, I look at things like, okay, what was Arsenal probably missing last season? That if they'd improved on it, we could have probably won the league. Was probably going to be goals. And I know Xhaka had the best season of his life at Arsenal.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, there were times where, and this is no disrespect to Xhaka, because granted Xhaka had the best season and it was a great player last season.
Yeah.
But if we had somebody who could take, there was a lot of chances that fell there. If there was somebody who could step up and take those chances, we could have probably won the league. Now, Mikel Arteta obviously has probably looked at Chelsea, looked at Havertz, and looked at his age as well.
Yeah.
German international. He's gone through a tough time at Chelsea, because it must be tough at Chelsea. There's not a lot of love floating around there at times, especially for him. He played out of position to help the team a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Albert. So I thought to myself, okay, let's see how he does. And you say it's a big enough sample size of 17 games and all that, but it's not. Because, do you know what? Sometimes it takes players a longer. But for me, Albert, and I've got to give the Arsenal fans some credit here as well. Yeah. We've heard the rumours, and people could, there's rumblings that he's not doing this and he's not doing that. But you're going to get that. You are going to get that. But one thing that the Arsenal fans done? They stuck with him, Albert. I remember going to the Emirates, and I said, I want to hear how they carry on with Kai Havertz. They were absolutely fine with Kai Havertz. You know what I mean? Because I've seen it when it's a lot worse, where the fans can boo and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't do that. They backed him, and obviously once he gets on his run, you could see he's a confidence player. He starts building a little bit of confidence, and then all of a sudden, the knockdowns, the little touches, everything starts coming off.
Yeah,
Albert.
Good finish yesterday. Really good finish.
Very good finish yesterday. Yeah. Scoring the winner at Brentford was fantastic as well. Little bits like that. Obviously, scored a penalty at Bournemouth, which was a gimme kind of thing for him. But he's gone on. He scored goals in Champions League. He scored goal.
Should have had one last week, Kev. Should have had one last week.
He should have. Was taken away from him by the referee and VAR and all that kind of thing. So, when you look at that, he is making a difference in the opposition box, Albert.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We need somebody else to step up, because the likes of Saka and Martinelli aren't where they were last season, because teams are not going to let them do that to them. So we need somebody else to step up, and he stepped up yesterday, which was fantastic. Jesus stepped up yesterday, which was great. We end up beating Brighton, a really good Brighton side, 2-0. We take it. If we could keep this Kai Havertz going to the end of the season.
Cool. What an asset. Yeah, 100%, Kev. And you know what it is as well?
You know what, Albert? If somebody said to you probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, Kai Havertz is going to get double figures goals in the league, you'd laugh him out of town, wouldn't you?
But it's not laughable now.
Of course it's not.
Yeah.
We need him. We need him to get double figures of goals. That's what we need.
We do, because the thing is, and you know what it is. I think the thing with him coming to Arsenal is, we've spoken about years. You might agree, Kevin, or not, because obviously being the big striker, top man you was. We didn't really have much physicality. He does give us that. We saw that if there was a small sample size of that, was when we played City in the Community Shield, and he played that kind of full snap. We as much as we might want to have the plan B, and then Zinchenko's inverted, and Ben White or Tomiyasu's overlapping Saka, we need a plan B or C, possibly even. And he can play that role, and it's important. Like you say, it makes such a great point. If you start talking about double figures of goal contributions, you're thinking, this guy's not getting this, man, for what you've seen. But you're like,
4 weeks ago, you say no chance.
Yeah.
Now you say, yeah.
It's possible. It's absolutely possible.
And Albert, also, if you notice, whenever we're playing out from the back,
Yeah.
We've got somebody else to hit now. We could hit him.
Exactly.
He gets up, does it down, and now we're in the attack again. So it really does make a difference. He does make a difference to us. He really does.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is his name, man. Yeah, keep it up. Listen, whether you want him at Arsenal or not, or ex-Chelsea, look, he's one of our players now. And him playing the way he's playing at the moment, God, of course it's beneficial. Confidence for him. And you know what, Kevin, I noticed. I didn't notice this at the time at the games. I was too busy probably celebrating the goal. When I got home and watched when Kai scored, and I saw Mikel Arteta's reaction on the touchline, I said, that's a man that wants this guy. You wanted him, you brought him to the club.
You
saw that in the celebration. You saw that. Yeah.
You want him to shine. Because you know what? There's nothing worse. Think about it. As a manager, there's nothing worse. You've got your Declan Rice there. Timber was flying.
Yeah.
And then got injured. And it was like, And then Kai Havertz has been struggling confidence-wise. And now all of a sudden, he's starting to take off. Listen, it's another tick in the box, isn't it? The people upstairs, when he start asking for that money, they're going to take it, Mikel, because your signings work.
And that's the thing. Arsenal fans, my general message in terms of, not necessarily, probably more so Kai Havertz, you are entitled with football opinions to change your mind. Slowly but surely, but you can change your mind. But yeah, Kai, keep it up, man. Listen, it's an asset to the team. It gives us a different dimension. And Kevin, sort of talking about, you mentioned about, we talk about Rice, talk about Kai Havertz. We'll move on to our next topic of discussion. All good ages, man. Declan Rice, still 24. Kai Havertz, 25. And our captain, masterful Martin Ødegaard, turned 25 yesterday. Kev, listen, you know what it is with him? Obviously, I'm going to speak for myself, Arsenal community in the chat, and when watching this back live and watching it back on the rerun, is he does great work off the ball. Part the technical ability to one side. People guys to give it's not always a give me with some footballers. Believe me from what I've seen, but he does work. He works really well off the ball. What I wanted to see more from him was better performances away from home, away from the Emirates. I think I've personally seen that in his time at Arsenal. One of the small criticisms, well, also for me was he gets himself into some brilliant areas. Have a shot more. He's done that more. He does do that a lot more, actually, in the games I see him play. Take a bit more onus. Take a bit of a, I won't use the word, starts with B, ends in G, from the players if you're going to take a shot on that. You're a leader, you're the captain. Take responsibility. If you're in a better position, you take the shot. Forget what anybody else says. You're getting yourself into those perfect positions. And I think some people, it's a weird one with him, depending on who you align with in terms of fan base or who you talk to, who you collaborate with, where he gets criticized sometimes. I think, okay, look, is there games where he can play better? Of course, you can say that about many players. Of course, he can play better. There's games when he's not going to play well. For me, the only criticism I have this season, from what I've seen, he's a brilliant passer of the ball, Kev. Look at that pass for Saka in the first half. For goodness sake, man. What the hell? And you know why that pass was so good? Because the least amount of touches he took on the ball. I think sometimes for me, he takes too many touches. Play it quicker. Do the one touch, do the two touch. You're that good. Do it. Don't invite the pressure. That's my only slight criticism. Is that fair, Kevin, or do you see it a different way?
Well, listen, I think he's that type of player. If he knows somebody's free, he will do it quickly.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Saka being available and free to receive a pass. That ain't a lot of times,
no.
Albert. He's not free a lot of times because the amount of times he gets the ball and there's a lot of traffic with him. But I do agree with you about shooting. I think, do you remember Crystal Palace last season?
Yep.
Away. He had a couple of chances to shoot and score, and he didn't take them. And I remember me and Sophie saying, "You're captain. You know, the onus is on you. Shoot." And maybe he listened, and he was well into double figures last season. Had a fantastic
goals,
15. Had a fantastic season. Need more and need more of that clinical, because he's clinical when he's ready.
Yeah,
Albert, he's clinical when he's ready. But not all the time he's gonna shoot. You know why? Because his first thing in his mind is he's a provider.
100%. Yeah, he's thinking that.
So
100%.
If the first thing in your mind is to provide, you're looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
You're not looking for, right, I'm going to shoot. Because you want to give it to a Martinelli, a Jesus, a Saka, Trossard, Eddie. You're going to want to give it to them guys. And if that don't materialize, then maybe he's thinking about shooting. But I just think he has to recognize a bit quicker when it's his time and when it's time to pass.
Yeah.
You know
it's true. I think, he does. You know, it's funny because, like I said, he was brilliant last season. Like he did. And to be fair, in those goals, there weren't many penalties.
No,
like that was open, really class. But people, I think for me, in recent times, he did come back from a concussion. Right, I've never had one, so I don't know how to. But it's serious enough in it. So I don't know too many players that come back from concussion and put in a 9 out of 10 performance. I've never seen it personally. Unless you've seen it, Kevin, I don't know, but. He's slowly but surely got a great goal in the Champions League against London. We won the game 6-0. He will get better. To me, he has performed better away from home. I still would like to see, Villa away, 2 gilt-edged chances. You want it to fall to him. You want him to stick in the back of the net. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It happens. It's football. But we
were guilty that day. We were
100%.
We didn't take our chances. So,
But no, like I said, he does great work off the ball, man. I thought he played. I don't know who your man in the match was, Kevin. He might have been. I'm not too sure who it was, but some people I spoke to outside the ground. Some people said Jesus. Some people said Ødegaard. There's a mixture, which is good.
Rice makes such a massive difference to us. Man.
Yeah. As I said in my fan cam yesterday, Rice is the difference maker.
Rice and peas, man. Rice and peas is
the left, right, and that song is amazing. Arsenal, that's the best intro video for a playoff scene with Arsenal anyway. Great work, but Kez, man, great to get your thoughts about Ødegaard. Also, I was trying to think what the best way to do this. Actually, you know what? I want to talk about Liverpool first, then we'll come on to sort of January because that's after that game. You know what I mean? So I want to.
That's the Liverpool's the big test. We're talking about your Declan Rices and your Cobra Kais, and you're talking about Martin Ødegaard. Liverpool's always the big test.
Yeah,
you saw them.
Yeah.
You saw them against United yesterday.
Yeah.
What did you think to yourself? Did you think that Liverpool were going to blow them away? I did.
I thought about 3-0. Yeah, I did.
I thought Liverpool were going to blow them away. Didn't. So do you think?
Kevin, you know what it is? I'll be on. This is my. I've said this. This is not nothing new. If people have listened to me on my channel or if when I come on Highbury Squad before or other channels, I get it with the Arsenal Tottenham thing. I get it. I 100% get it. But I know Sophie has the same feeling about United because I've seen her say it. But there's always that one club that you just want to get one over. Kevin, I've been crying for years. I want to see 3 points at Anfield more than any other ground for me personally. That's my own personal point of view. It's been too long. We were brilliant for 40 minutes last season, but that's not enough when you're going to Anfield. You need a complete performance. It needs to be faultless.
Team performance.
Yeah,
90 plus minutes.
Yeah. But Kev, where am I at with this game? If someone offered me a point now, I would snap your hand off. And I'm speaking for myself specifically saying that. Let me make that very clear. But I want 3 points. I know it's a very, very, very difficult task. They don't lose too many games at Anfield, irrespective of whatever you saw yesterday. We've gone there, Kevin. Kevin, I've gone there. I've gone there. Probably. I've been feeling like I've wanted to have tears before the games. I was thinking, just keep the score down.
Albert, I've seen a few of their games.
Mm.
We can beat them. I'm telling you, Arsenal can beat them. Arsenal have to go there. I don't want your point. I want to go there and I want to win. Because
Kev, you know when you say that. Sorry to come in, Kev. Because I was listening to I've heard so many varied opinions just about the Liverpool game outside the Emirates yesterday. Very varied. From take a point now, we're gonna go there and fist them up, and I'm like, wow, okay, yeah, like
Belgium.
When he said that, I said Belgium, for goodness sake, man, honestly. But Kev, you know what? I'm confident going to the game, and I don't think I've ever said that going to Anfield in probably 10 years, or maybe even more. I am confident going to the game we can get a result. Saliba will be playing, touch wood. Got Declan Rice. Tomiyasu's a miss, man. Super miss. He's playing so well, Super Kev. But we might not get many chances at Anfield. So my question to you is, we need to be ruthless, obviously, but do you think Liverpool have had to construct their midfield this season? Literally, Endo, Gravenberch, McAllister. Yep. Is that where Declan Rice can't do it on his own, but is that for you where you feel we could get the 3 points just purely based on the midfield, or defensive Liverpool are not there yet? How do you feel?
Listen, this isn't I look at Liverpool. This isn't the Liverpool of 4 years ago.
No
chance. Are they dangerous? Hell, yeah, they are dangerous. Let me tell you,
very dangerous.
They're dangerous against anybody. The thing is, you can get at this Liverpool team if you play your game, you play smart, and you've got your game plan. You can get at this Liverpool team, and we have the weapons that have proven we can hurt them. We've proven we could hurt them. So, listen. Can you go into the game and lose? Of course, it's Liverpool at Anfield. Of course you can.
Of course you can.
You can lose, but I'd rather be positive. Look at Arsenal's team and think, do you know what? We can win this. We can go to Anfield and win, because you know what, Albert? You go to Anfield and win. What other ground do you go to and fear?
Yeah, that's for me. That's the only ground for me personally.
You know, going to City, I'm not even as fearful going to City as I would be going to Anfield.
That says a lot. Yeah,
that says it. But Liverpool, that's one of the last bastions of proving yourself as a football team. Because no matter how poor they're playing, Albert, you go there, especially as an Arsenal, they are coming for you. The fans are coming for you. Everybody's against you. That's where you have to earn your stripes. And I truly believe we can win there. I really do.
What's your gut feeling telling you? What's your gut feeling telling you? What's your head telling you for that game?
Listen, my gut feeling, my
Yeah,
gut is
yeah,
telling me, obviously tough game. Want to stay in the game. Want to
yeah.
make
That's
sure
important.
we
Very
nullify
important.
them. I think that's
Yeah,
the important part. We've got to nullify them. For us to win, our defense and our midfield have to nullify their threat. Because if they're getting chance after chance, you know the way this is going to go. Because
yeah,
when we're at Anfield, the ball just keeps coming back.
yeah.
But my head is telling me, like what I've seen, we can really get at this team.
People in the chat, what are you telling us with this game? I'm asking you specifically about this game of Liverpool because we've not gone there and won many times, man. To be honest with you,
It's time.
it's about time. Yeah,
It's
Kevin, you're right.
time.
Sometimes, yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's listen. One thing Mikel has done since he's come to the club, Kevin, you knew our record was shocking against the big six as
The
such.
big six.
Away from home, by the way, away from home.
Well,
It's
home
awful.
or away.
Yeah, yeah, particularly away, but that's got a bit better in terms of performances recent years in Chelsea, United, more so at home. I say Liverpool, United at home, but it's the away ones I want. Beat Tottenham away for the first time in just under 10 years last season. But this is the one I want. This is the one I want. My head is telling me we sneak it. My heart is telling me we'll get a draw. I think it'll be a Desmond.
Okay.
But defensively, I wanted one thing I want to bring you up with you, Kevin. Actually, I knew our defensive record has been pretty good away from home last season. I think Declan Rice has been a massive influence because of that. I mean, Kevin, you played in a great defense. You'd be happy with these statistics right at the moment. What you've seen so far?
Big time.
Oh,
Big
man.
time. Oh, big time. And that's what I'm leaning on.
Yeah.
Because Albert, back all those many moons ago when I played,
yeah,
that's what we lent on. We lent on the defense.
The bedrock.
That's the foundation of your team.
Yeah.
You lean on the defense, and then as a striker, you get one. It could be the winner. Do you know what I mean? Because you trust your defensive players to do the right things, to usher them away from goal, to make the right tackles, to do all the dirty stuff right.
Yeah.
To give you a chance as a forward to try and win the games. And, Arsenal going there in 89 and winning 2-0.
Oh.
Liverpool had never been beat by 2 clear goals in how many years previous to that?
I heard that.
Let alone a title decider.
Yeah,
so,
amazing.
Played in teams who've gone there and won 1-0, gone there, won 2-0. It's Anfield. Trust me, you have to have the right mindset. This team has the right mindset. And you know what as well, Albert?
Yeah.
After last season, I think this team would probably look at that. Because many people look at that and say, that was the start of where we lost the title.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that game, but that mindset of being 2-0 up.
Pivotal. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And getting a point. Well, Ramsdale having to perform heroics.
Oh, what a save.
Two massive saves to keep us in the game. So, again, the boys are probably, we're better than that. We are better than that. So let's go there and show them how good we are. Obviously, Saliba comes in and listen, we're set. Everyone's fit, touch wood. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's be dogged, tough to beat. Let's give them nothing. Let's let the cop turn against them, which they hardly ever do. But let's make it let's make it horrible for them, like they make it for us.
Yeah, you make a good point, Kevin, because like I said, our away form, even going back to last in the Premier League, is pretty good. And obviously, I'll just put the stats up for you guys to see. We're building a foundation from the back, which for me, I kind of mentioned a couple of years ago. We need to create a relationship and a confidence within our back 5 unit. Ben White and Zinchenko, who looks like they probably will start, are going to have they've got to give it 8, 9s out of 10s on Saturday. Sorry.
Listen, Albert. This is where it's a team game,
Mm.
and do you know what? Mitoma could cause any team problems. We've seen
Yeah.
Mitoma cause any team problems, but who gave him the help that he needed? Saliba.
Yeah.
Who gave Zinchenko the help that he needed? Gabriel. That's what they've got to do as a back four. And when it comes to people picking up balls in front, that's where Declan Rice has got to nail people to make sure you do not get opportunities against us. I mean, you saw the way United defended yesterday. Yeah, they had some luck.
Of course. Yeah.
But they defended pretty well. And you can't say United's defence is anywhere near as good as ours.
No chance.
Because their attack is nowhere as good as ours either. So that's why I believe we stand a good chance of beating this Liverpool team. We really do.
Yeah, you know what? So I know some people feel different about games. Nervous. I'm looking forward to it because I just want to beat them so much, Kevin. Man, it wrangles with me honestly. So I'll be doing a live watch along on my channel. I'm gonna put a trigger warning out because I'm thinking it might get a bit too colourful. But people, big up to in the chat. 334 in the chat. Like Tammy doing a good job in there, man. Get them likes up, people, man. Smash the like button. Come on, man.
Chief like officer is Tammy. And Tammy, tell them to get the likes up, Tammy.
But Kev, one thing I want to ask you because we haven't got long left. But I don't know if you saw this. Arsenal, listen, I know the football is very different from last season. And what I kind of said yesterday on my fan cam is that you might even see the same performance against Liverpool that you saw at home to Man City. Yeah. If it gets us the job done, I will take it and run. Absolutely. We've got the players to kill them. Don't get me wrong. But we have got to be defensively sound. No errors because I think, I don't know if you saw it, Kev, I think we've conceded the most goals like leading from errors in the league for Arsenal. I was like, oh my God. But
how good would our defense be then?
Exactly. But one thing we have done well as a positive is I think we've got the most points in the league scoring in the last 5-10 minutes of games.
Scoring late.
Kevin, that's champions mentality, you know. Because if that stat was attributed to City, they'd be waxing lyrical. There'd be the back page of every tabloid, red table paper going. But because it's us,
what do you have to do to make it relevant? You got to win it, Albert.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what we got to do. We got to win it. We scored loads of late goals. I mean, that Reece Nelson goal against Bournemouth. Do you remember that one? When that one went in at the Emirates, it was unbelievable. But what you got to do to make these things folklore, you got to go and win it. Now, this Arsenal team, they've been learning on the job. They've been understanding what's needed. Listen, I believe we're ready. I know we're going to probably have a little chat about January coming up as well. Because that really could make a difference to our season as well. But I think we're in a good spot. We don't need to be free-flowing at the moment.
Yeah.
I think against the big sides, you make it a war of attrition. And if you make it a war of attrition and you make it tough and horrible, and we come out on top as the Arsenal, I'll take a 1-0 to the Arsenal all day long, Albert. I tell you.
Well, you make a good point about learning, because I've said this before, Super Kevs, right? 2 years ago, missed out on the Champions League. That hurt them, and it should. So we go the following season back in Champions League football. Oh, we're in a title race. Don't get it done. City don't win it, we lose it. That's my opinion. You don't want the same thing to happen for a third time. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, touch wood, this team have learned very quickly on the last 2 years how to get over the line. It's going to be tough, but we can do it. We've got the players to do it, and we're going to touch on, moving on to the segue very nicely. Importance of January, what are the priorities? Kevin, look, I look at last January, for example. Actually, Arsenal brought in more players than I thought they would, if I'm being honest. I wasn't too sure where we would go in terms of January, because we don't particularly do a lot of business, to be honest. But obviously, last season we brought in Kivior, Jorginho, and Leandro Trossard. Arsenal fans might have to get used to the fact that...
Did we bring in Turner as well?
I think we brought in Turner. That's 4, wasn't it? I think so. If it's Turner, it's 4. But if it isn't, I think
If
it
it
is.
isn't,
But
it's
it's 3.
3.
Yeah. I thought about this. I thought about this, Kevin. Like asking you. I thought to myself, like, do I think Arsenal do any business? Yes. In terms of how many that come in is another question because Kevin, teams around the country, players are dropping like flies, or they're just coming back. You know, Emil Smith Rowe got some minutes in. Come on, I don't know how long Fabio Vieira is. They're talking part is imminent. In terms of priorities, Kevin,
but
where
doesn't Thomas Partey go to the African Cup of Nations as well?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So again, that's going to be players go in and stuff. So
yeah. So in terms of priorities, Kev, like what would you like on realistically? What do you think Arsenal are going to get? How do you feel about the striker situation more so?
Well, I'd like one if we can get one. I look at our bench, and because that's how you test the strength for your squad is the bench. I look at our bench, Albert, and I say it's not strong enough. I look at City's bench, and I look at who Liverpool have to bring on.
Yeah,
game changers,
yeah,
difference makers. So I say to myself, I'd love to have 2 strikers on the bench. 2. So again, if we can get a striker where we can rotate, because listen, who's to say Jesus has to always play up top? He doesn't.
He doesn't. He can play across the front 3. Yeah,
we've seen him. He can play anywhere. That guy, he's that good.
Yeah.
What we Ivan Toney's the one who's been linked with us. Listen, if we could get him on loan, Albert, we've swum the channel. I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you could get somebody like that on loan, and not to say he's going to start every game either, but to have an extra person like him who can come in and make a difference will be huge.
Is he the one? Is he the one you want, Kev?
No, for me, if it was out of him and Osimhen, I want Osimhen. But Osimhen won't. Osimhen, the deal won't ever happen until summer.
No.
If it's going to happen, so I understand. But you know what? For me, the needs must in Jan. Midfield. I think we need another midfielder. I think we need another box spanner type player who can play multiple positions. Can play defensive. He can play fullback. Maybe he can play in midfield.
Yeah.
And I think a striker. I think we've got enough players who could help out wide, but it's through that middle striker where we lack someone like a Tony who can head it, who's bigger. You know what I mean? Who can do the business up there? He's Premier League. He's played in the Premier League, proven in the Premier League. So again, whether that can happen, because he's obviously still on a suspension. He's just coming back in Jan. I don't know. But again, I think 3 players. If we could get 3 players, I know Timber isn't far, but they're gonna obviously take their time on him because
it's
about March.
Yeah, big injury. Yeah,
they're talking about March. So we don't take risk with him because even if he don't play for the rest of the season, he should be ready for next season. Do you know what I mean? We want to make sure he's ready. But I think we need 3 players. Give me 4, I take it.
No, there definitely would be Christmas, believe me or not. You know what it is, Kev? I mean, people talk about FFP, but I think the problem with Arsenal in terms of, I think for most transfer windows is we don't sell very well, which is something we still need to get better at. I mean, if you take Balogun, we probably would have got a lot more if he played more Premier League minutes, for example. Yes, he had a good
money for Balogun.
Yeah, we did. I think for what he did on the season loan at Rems and
Willock, we got good money for Willock, good money for Balogun. The others, a lot of the others, Albert, we had to pay them to leave.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
But that's where the club were. And if anybody understands dressing rooms and assets,
Yeah.
Our assets had no value.
None at all. Yeah.
We've got assets now of value.
Yeah, we have. That's one thing we have got. 100%.
So I understand what you say about we don't sell very well. It's because the club won't run very well.
Yeah.
In that sense, to have the assets.
It's true. It's true, Kev. Because I look at some of the other clubs. I know they talk. I know they talk about the spending power of Chelsea and City, but man, they do sell well, man. Abrahams, Tomori, Sane, Ferran Torres, Sterling, and you're like, you wish Arsenal could do that just to help themselves a little bit. But like you say, if you're not run well,
invested. I mean, the likes of Chelsea. I mean, look at what Chelsea had at one stage. Nearly 40 players on loan. But they've invested, because that's a key part of their model, is invested in young talent to build it up. Their academy, they build them up, to a certain point. Man City have started doing it. Liverpool, to an extent, have done it a few times as well. Arsenal haven't been that. Arsenal have developed to a point, and then all of a sudden you get a couple who go in. Saka, Smith Rowe come in. I mean, what are they worth?
Bucket loads.
But that's exactly my point.
That's what your point. I get it. I hear you, Kev.
That's my point. If we can develop these guys, and we've got, obviously, there's some younger ones coming in who I know a lot of people were a bit vexed that, against PSV.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That. Let me tell you something, people. Let me tell you something.
Go on, Super Kev.
If I'm a player in the squad, I don't want no youngster coming in. I want to play. This is the Champions League.
Exactly.
Very rarely, this is the first time. Saka sat on the bench. Saka, what do you reckon? Saka wants to make a big name for himself. All these 100%. Guys, Champions League, first time in the Champions League, and he's sitting down on the bench. He wants to play. These 100%. Are the games where you want to play in.
Yeah, big games, big games.
These are the massive, that music and all that. He's probably used to watch it with envy, mate. Link up with
it's
England
true.
and all that. And all them boys are, all them boys are like, Champions League down.
League,
You know what I mean? And he hasn't even kicked a ball in the Champions League yet. Now we get in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Fans are talking about resting him because they don't want him to play. He must be like, what? That's how I was. That's how I'd be. Those are the games you want to play now, Albert.
Yeah.
So I know it's hard for the youngsters to get their gongs in the Champions League, and some clubs do it a little bit different. But at Arsenal, I know this: they haven't got enough Premier League minutes and Champions League minutes under their belt to mess around with it.
Yeah. No, well said. I would say, the striker thing's an interesting one, man. I've said this before so many times, Kevs, man. Like, the striker market in recent years, I wouldn't say it's flooded.
It's not great.
No, you get Kane, Lewandowski, Laura Martinez, Mbappe. After that, Osherman. Kev, I will throw one name into the hat. And I like this guy, right? I had this conversation with Tom Canton. I thought, I know he's at Sporting Lisbon at the moment. Done very well for Coventry last season. 25. Victor Gyökeres.
He's a good player.
He's
a good player.
Like
he's a good player.
I like him.
But here's the issue.
Go on, Kev.
Never played in the Premier League.
That's the thing.
He's only ever played Championship.
Yeah,
and he done really well in the Championship. Couldn't get Coventry over the line for them to get
the final. Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of these little things, and he's gone there and he's doing well. Different football over there.
Very.
Premier League. And if you're going to spend the type of money that you expect them to spend, look how Arsenal fans are. You ain't got no time.
Yeah, it's true.
You better just land and score. You know what I mean? You better. So
But Kev, that's my outside one. I like him. He's done well. He's done well at the moment.
He's a good player.
What's he got? He's got 15 and 18 and 7 assists. I said for a striker.
He's an all-round. He's a very good all-round striker.
Yeah.
Who can bring people into the game. He can hunt space. He can hold it up. He's a good player, mate. He's a good player.
The people you heard it here
Arsenal
first.
signed it, if Arsenal got him in,
mate, I'll be happy. I'll put it out there, people on Highbury Squad.
I won't say nothing.
Yeah.
He's a good player. I've watched him a few times. He's a good player.
Kev, I'm glad you endorsed it, Kev. I thought, I said to Tom Canton, I said, I want Victor. I want Victor at Arsenal.
Yeah, but Tom, the thing with Tom wouldn't know him.
No.
You know what I mean? Tom could say, well, I don't really know him. He's done well, but everything's going to get leveled. He hasn't played Premier League football before. And
that's the thing, yeah. But I'm sticking my neck on the line, people, which I don't normally do on YouTube. But yeah, I wouldn't say no to Victor if we can't get. Listen, as a fellow Nigerian, I would bring Osman to us tomorrow, but I don't have that pulling power. I don't have it. But people, I want to say a big up to the people in the chat. Amazing, 311 in the chat. Tammy, what's the likes? Tell us before we disappear off for the night, man. Big up to people, great comments. I had to step in for Sophie.
You done well, Albert. You done well.
You.
And you know what? Sophie approached you because, obviously with what's going on with,
she's got a lot going on.
Unfortunately, her mum and she's over in Cyprus. So if you can, people, just send a little X in the comments for Sophie and her family. We really appreciate that. And we're all such a lovely squaddy family here. And, we really appreciate you guys coming to join. We didn't want to do 2 Mondays without a show. So bless Albert. Blessings, Albert, for coming on.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate it.
And joining the squad.
Yeah. Love to the people in the chat. Thank you. As you may know, people, you might be surprised to know I actually do have my own channel. So
let them know, Albert. Let them know.
The link is in the description. So just click on that and subscribe to Albert JTV and push me up a little bit. But most importantly, if you have only arrived at the Highbury Squad for the first time, which I would find highly impossible, you best subscribe, people. So subscribe to the Highbury Squad, man. But big up, love for the people in the chat. The thought of doing a collab with Kevin and not seeing his beautiful face for so long, I could not turn it down. Sophie, sending you lots of love, as many people in the chat as well, and also Super Kev. But Kev, do you want to play us out with a fantastic message like you always do?
Of course. And one thing I will say is to this guy here, Albert, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you, Albert, as all the squaddies would, because you know what? It's not easy stepping in for Sophie. She's got all sorts of buttons and stuff going on there. Let me tell you, it's hard. It's hard work, but you've done it pretty well today. And the other thing I will say to all your squaddies and everybody, listen, we're in the festive time. As Albert said earlier on, it's a week to Christmas, right? Enjoy your festive time. Be nice, send love, ring people, let them know you care, 100%. Because you never know what's around the corner. Let me tell you, you do. You never know what's around the corner. And pay it forward. Do something nice for somebody out of the blue that maybe you wouldn't have done. Try it. I tell you, it really works. It really works. I done something today which was great, and it really does make you feel good. So everybody, from Albert and myself and Super Soul, squaddies, we love you. Take it easy, and at ease, squaddies, on Monday Madness. At ease.
People, good night. God bless. Smash the like button. And lots of love. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas.